Alright peeps, you know what's up. You saw talent from the six. You know we had to get the rest of the world in the mix. The urban franchise, Tony Montana. Gonna sit at the desk for guessing. Show you what they're about to. Tell you who they are. Let them promote what they got going on. And show you guys how awesome they are. Cause if they weren't awesome, they wouldn't be on the show. It is down to talk with Tony Montana, baby. We have the most, and 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 we have the most. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the first episode of Down the Talk with Tony Montana from Rob Tosh Productions' new Kensington Market studio. And our first guest is one of the most entertaining men in all of Toronto and Brampton, Manny Barr. Thank you for joining us, Manny.
Hey, thank you, man. It's a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. It's great.
Manny.
Yes, sir.
Tell the peeps about yourself.
I guess I'm an adventurer, artist, fire starter. I'm a brother, I'm a son. I'm an actor as well. I'm a performer, and I don't take life too seriously.
Right on. So you're in the entertainment game.
Yeah.
Where did you get started? Like, what is your origin story in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, I've always wanted to, I guess, get behind the camera, act and stuff. I've always enjoyed movies. I've watched Bollywood movies growing up and also Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
But I think it all stems from, being a little bit different, being a prankster, joking around and stuff. And, at one point in my life, I was working for a well-reputable bank. My ex at the time, she was like, what do you want to do? So my father had passed away at the time. So I got a job.
My condolences for that.
Oh yeah, no, thank you. At the time, yeah. So I had to sort of like grow up and be the breadwinner of my family, and I got a job at the bank. I was like, what's better? At least I'll know where to invest. They'll make me smarter with my money, and I'll get the good rates. Yeah. And I was doing customer service, and it's a great job. I enjoyed interacting with the clients and solving their problems and all that. But at some point you sort of ask yourself, like, is this what you want to do for the rest of your life? Because at the bank, at least in my department, I was mixed in with the older people as well. So, you see their life and you start chatting, and, some people has restrictions and they have sort of, family commitments and stuff. And some people do it for the money. And, of course you have to work and you have to make money, right? So, and I graduated from college. I did police foundations. So it was my ex at the time, at one point we were sitting at a restaurant. She was asking me, she's like, well, what do you want to do? Right? She's like, you don't like this, but why don't you focus on something that you do like, because maybe you can excel. Yeah. And I was like, I could become a cop. I graduated from Sheridan, and I think it was a thing a little bit where, family and friends were like, like maybe you don't need to be a cop. Like, you're putting your life on the line and stuff. Yeah. And, people told me like I look like a cop. So I was like, why not? Like, maybe I'll give that a shot. Yeah. And yeah, she was asking me like, what do you enjoy? And I said, well, maybe I want to try to be an actor, and it sounded like a little bit, crazy and stuff at time. But I was like, look, I could get serious. Let me give it a shot. Why not? I think you got to try everything once in life. Yeah. So I told her that, and she was like, while you work, why don't you focus on that? So I was like, all right. So, I went on the hunt. I was on the search, and I was trying to find, at the time, like a school to join or something. And I stumbled upon NIB, which is National Institute of Broadcasting. They were up on Eglinton and St. Clair. So I did broadcasting for 6 months. Again, just trying it out. Yeah. Just seeing, what works, what doesn't, what do I like, what do I don't. So I did the 6 months course with them, and then I was like, well, I kind of want to do acting a little bit, So, on the hunt to join an agency, I also prepared a script, which I thought, like, was killer. It was going to be a great performance. I'm going to wow them. And it doesn't necessarily work like that. But, I heard I was on the radio. I was driving work, and they were like, hey, do you want your child to be, in Disney TV and blah, blah, blah. So call this number, this and that. So I called it, and I guess like it wasn't all that. And it was like, I guess a dead end number and stuff. Yeah. And then I just started doing a little bit of research. I asked NIB for courses and stuff. They had something. And I stumbled upon an agency who I was with for the past decade. I've only been with them. I stumbled upon them and I prepared that piece and I was like, all right, I'm going to go meet them. First agency I meet, I maybe had 2, 3 on the list.
Yeah.
So I went, I went to the office, I had the piece prepared, and they're like, all right, you know, like even before me performing or anything, and I was like all jazzed and ready. I'm like, I'm gonna wow them. You know, they obviously, they looked at me and they're like, you know, kid, you got a good look and everything. Like, we like what you're bringing to the table, but you got to get training. So I was like, all right, cool, you know, for sure. Yeah, I want to learn about it, passionate. And they had, you know, a few courses of training. And I think, you know, they had, like, it's really good to get training to know what to do on set and, like, know what the protocols are and know how to behave and, you know what to do. So the first year, I just dedicated on getting training on this. So it's training from, you know, how to slate, training on how to, you know, act and walk in the audition room, training on scripts, characters, improv, you know, they had the 3 levels. So I was like, you know what, let me do all of them. And, you know, at the same time, they're like, you know, join, you know, pass level 1, and you had to pass, there's a grade. And then you can be on the roster, and then you do, you know, level 2 and 3. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm like, I don't care about all this. I'll just do level 1, 2, 3. They're like, you can. So I joined them, and I got training. Yeah. And it was kind of like going to school, right? So it was like a year of schooling that I had to do. Yeah. And in between that, NIB, who I did the National Institute of Broadcasting, the radio school, they found a gig for me in that year. So while I was going to school, it was teaching me a bunch of things. And I do remember my agent at the time, John Hamilton, he was telling me, or telling us in the class that, you know, you got to be like a smart actor too, right? So there was a class and it was about wardrobe. And he was also saying, he's like, you know, like, don't be a dummy. Like, if you're going for Coca-Cola, don't wear blue, because blue's Pepsi.
Yeah, true.
So this gig was, it was for Rogers, but that's all I knew about it. Like, it was something about Rogers, and I was like, okay, cool. Rogers red. Put on my red shirt. I'm given the time, and you know, I told my boss, like, I have diarrhea, just so they don't ask more. They're like, take your time. So I'm like, oh, I'm really sick today, you know, like, I can't come in. They're like, yeah, take your time. So I drove up, and it was up in Danforth. By the pizza. It was around there. So I'm driving by and I'm like, oh shit, like, there's a long lineup here. Like, I hope it's like they're not all here for that. And sure enough, I parked miles away and I walked back in my red shirt and I got a headshot and resume. At the time, you had to physically bring it in. It wasn't like done online.
Oh wow. So
yeah, you would have a headshot and a resume, and you'd keep copies of these, like at least a good 10 in your car, because you don't know when you're going out and what's going on. And then you leave 2 or 3 at the agency as backup. So if you do forget, you can actually drive to the agency, grab that, and then go to do your audition. So I get there and I'm looking around, you know, person in the front, person in the back. It's my first time. I don't know what's going on. And I'm chatting them up. Hey, you're here for this? Yeah. All right, cool. I'm like, I'm at the right spot. And it's a really long lineup, eh? It's like up the stairs and stuff. So sure enough, like 45 minutes, an hour later, like I get there. And all you had to do was like hold a sheet of paper and it had a number on it. I don't know what number it was, but basically, you know, you get there and they're like, cheese, and they take like a profile shot of you. And at the time, like, I didn't realize, but they took a few pictures all around. And I'm just focused on the front camera. Take a picture, and then I'm like, all right, cool, you know, like that's me checking in kind of deal. I sit and I see other people come in, walk out, you know, and I'm like, well, like, this is it? Like, I don't even get to perform. They're not going to tell me, bring me to a room. I don't get to do anything, like they were saying in class. And it wasn't, so everybody was just like, no, like, they're just doing a photo. So it was a print ad at the time. I didn't know. So I just hung around for a bit, and then I was like, and I'm looking around, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to leave. And sure enough, a week later, I get the call and I got the gig.
Right on.
So, yeah. I got my first gig, and that's how I got it. And it gave me a little bit of confidence, you know, to keep going.
Well, that'll definitely boost you up. Nailing that first audition. And it's like, you didn't even understand. It's like, what? I don't even get to the thing. That's cool. One thing I want to dial it back to, you're talking about the training. Now, not a lot of people know about that. Is there like a particular school or is like multiple ways for them to obtain this training?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you do go online and you can join some acting communities, that's one. They'll help you out. But I would say Second City is a really good training ground. They have a great improv program and a class. So if somebody were to get into acting, just because improv puts you in different situations and it makes you like a quick thinker, like you can think on your feet.
Yeah.
So it makes you a better actor sometimes when the director wants you to change things up. But otherwise, I think you can take great acting classes. If you go on Actra's website, they have like the ones that are approved, the ones that are really good. But if you go see some casting directors in town, they offer some workshops.
Right on.
So a lot of the casting directors I was fortunate with, I took workshops with them. I took workshops with my own agency. If your own agency, or if you join an agency and they offer it, go for it. Because usually they'll have a guest casting director, and guess what? They're the ones that are casting for these shows. So it's already good to, you know, be in front of their face and work with them to learn how they like, you know, for you to perform, or how their style is and what they see, because I think every casting agency is also different. So getting workshops from acting coaches is great. Going to Second City is good. You know, and going to open acting classes and things like that. If you're not sure, sometimes they let you audit them. You know, like Louis Baumender, he's pretty good. You know, LB Acting Studios. They're pretty big. They're doing it up.
Right on.
For some, those are some that I can think of. But yeah, you can pretty much get training from anybody. There's some great senior actors here in Toronto that offer acting classes, and there's some on camera and stuff. So they're pretty good. I would just say do a few.
Okay. Right on. Right on. So let's talk about, are you union or non-union?
I'm non-union. I did get a gig at one point to be in the union, and I think, you know, some people are like, you know, is it good to be non-union? Is it good to be union? What should I do? At least for me, non-unions worked. I think when you're union, you know, things are they're more legit. It's more bigger budget. It's more like McDonald's corporate stuff as well. And obviously, you know, everybody's sort of protected on sets. Not to say in non-union they're not protected on sets, but maybe their money's allocated a little bit, you know, a little bit spread out elsewhere and stuff in their production. So for me, non-union has been working great. There was a point where I got a union gig. And I was like, great, you know, like, oh, maybe I get to be an actor and stuff. I got the gig, and I was working for RBC at the time. And it was for BMO. But I wasn't the main guy for BMO. I was like the guy, sort of like a background, working on the window and stuff. So I got the gig, and I did it. And I was like, oh, I hope they don't find out. But anyways, so I get the gig, and to be in union, you have to get credits. So at the time that I was doing it, you needed 3 credits. So the permit that I got was to join the union. So you can also, you know, if you do get a union gig, you can buy the permit just to do that job, and that's it. But at least I was like, okay, I'll just put in a little bit more money and get like, try to be a full-time, you know, get into their program. So I had to get 2 more credits. I was dry for the year, just up until like maybe 2-3 months before my permit was going to expire. I had one for Wonder Bread, and I had another one. I forget which one it was. And, you know, I got callbacks for both, went into finals, but I had to nail both to be in. And I didn't get either. So I was a little bit down, and I thought like my agent's going to be mad at me. So he called me up a little bit after, like I let my my status like kind of go away. And he called me up at one point, and he's like, yo, like, are you union or non-union? And I was like, I thought he was going to be mad. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I let my permit run out. Like, I'm so sorry I couldn't land a gig. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Boom, non-union, next week, blazing. Like, just gigs after gig, like, you know, like, at least auditioning for them. Coming to me, So, you know, I think with non-union, there's a bigger window. You can shoot a lot of other stuff, and there's you know, a lot more. But union, you know, now you're in a union, so they work a little bit different. And you know, everybody's different. So.
No, that's good to hear. It's like, Some people I've spoken to assume that it limited your opportunities, but apparently non-union gives you more opportunities, which is good to know.
I think you're open for union and non-union gigs,
Yeah.
right? So when you're union, you're
Yeah.
not open to the non-union gigs.
Okay.
So why not do both?
Yeah, no, I hear that, absolutely. So you've worked with agencies. Now, have you always had a personal relationship with your agent, or has it just been strictly business?
No, I think being, being tight with your agent plays a big factor. I think the agent is much like a referee in a wrestling ring,
Yeah.
right? He's the third man in there, the silent man. So being friends and like knowing your agent, I
Yeah.
think why not, right?
Yeah.
You want him because you're working as a team. And you want to be able to understand your teammate
Yeah.
in order for you guys to like be focused on the same goal,
Yeah.
right? So I always think like an agent works for you.
Yeah.
Like while I'm at work, my agent's always been trying to find me gigs, and not to say that I didn't myself either, right? So you got to do the work as well on your end
Yeah.
to be a smart actor. But the agent, yes, you got to be friends with them. I would say be friends with them, have a relationship, just so like when things come up, who do they think of? Oh, their favorite guy,
Makes sense.
why not? Yeah, I don't see any advantage of not.
Yeah.
Being tight with your agent. Now, I've been really like close with my agency. I've been, I think, at least a key player.
Yeah.
So I guess I've seen, some people that are not tight with their agent. No pros or cons, but why not?
Yeah.
You
I always assumed it was like a wrestling manager.
Yeah.
They're the one getting you your opportunities, so you got to be like close with them.
Of course, yeah. They're the ones sliding in the brass
Yeah,
knucks, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
So, and yeah, those are some of the things. Like, when you do nail a gig, like it's good to, pay your agent a visit, grab him some Timmies, or give him a nice bottle of Johnny Walker,
Right on.
something like that.
Yeah,
So,
true. So, what was the gig that you got that gave you that feeling that's like, okay, yeah, I've made it?
I think the first one that I think was like really a little bit prime time was Sharp TV.
Right on.
I got Sharp TV and I didn't tell anybody I shot it, and that was the first one where it was in a warehouse. They've got a nice studio, nice big studio, and they constructed the set of a home. So it's like a living room constructed.
Yeah.
And it was it was like trailers and stuff, and catering and all that. So
Oh,
yeah, you
nice.
get the nice star feeling there. I was the only brown guy in the commercial, and I eat a chip.
Yeah.
And my, that's how my buddies make fun of me and recognize me. So that was the one where I was like, okay, I really like this and this big, and I enjoy being around, the set and camera, and chatting it up with the director, running the scenes, and just seeing how it's done creatively, even behind the scenes, very interesting to me. So that was my first big one where I was like, okay, like things are good, the ball's rolling, and I can do this.
Right on. So, what would you say is your dream role?
Ooh, dream role. I've always wanted to play Joker
Right on.
before Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, obviously legend. He did a great job.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if it was like a Brown thing and stuff, but it was always like one character where I was like, okay, like I'd like to go behind his mind and see like what really makes him crazy and stuff. And that is one where I think I would get real joy of playing.
Right on.
But since that's been done, I'd probably say Riddler now in the
Yeah.
Batman world. And I think now the new Batman has Riddler
Yeah.
as the villain. So I have to see it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Other than that, I think maybe a villain in James Bond. Maybe have him come to India and I'll play the brown guy. Other than if they wanted a brown James Bond, then I'm all ready for it.
Right on.
Yeah.
So it's like I guess you haven't seen the new Batwoman. There's like a black version of Joker now, and with that multiverse, there's got to be a brown Joker out there.
Oh, yeah.
So it might come up.
A brother from a different mother.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we can spin it off like that too. And I think that's the beauty of it, like before, at least when I started, a lot of the gigs were, Caucasian male this, Caucasian male that, to nobody's fault. I don't want to blame anything on anybody, but it was just the time.
Yeah.
And then I think slowly a little bit later on, I could see maybe around 2014-ish, 2015. Then they're like, oh, let's get the Asian guy in the McDonald's commercial. Let's get the black guy, let's get a little bit of color. And, fast forward to now, 2022, now it's, it's very open, and I really like it. There's a lot of people, and there's people from different communities as well, like LGTB, BQ. It doesn't matter now. I think I like it because it's not like man or woman either, right? So Batwoman, is getting a lot of nice exposure too and stuff. So it's more opportunities. That's what I see.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing the diversity you see in the industry from where it was to where it is.
Yeah.
And I feel it's just like the industry has evolved with the world.
Correct.
Where the world was one way now, but then it's like it's growing. Canada is very different from when I ran around when I was 8 years old.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
And the entertainment world reflects that completely.
Correct, yeah. Sometimes it's people running it, right? Like, we're in a much different Canada now. But, what's to say, right? Like in beer commercials, what, brown people, black people, we don't drink beer?
No,
like,
exactly.
come on, like, we're really big up there, too. So, it's changed, and I like it,
Yeah, it gives you hope for the future. Because, like, what we saw, we know our kids aren't going to be seeing that. They're going to grow up in a world where they're going to be accepted.
Correct.
Not have to deal with that.
It's going to be normal.
Yeah.
And I think it's the difference not even is in front of the camera, it's behind the camera too.
Yeah.
The directors and all that too. They're of color. So it's really nice to see them come out and bring their perspective in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So like back to working your regular jobs and then taking time off for gigs. Any funny stories?
Other than killing my grandmother or like having diarrhea and stuff, you make shit up sometimes on the spot. But at one point, I was working for RBC, and I was sitting in front of my boss. So she called me in her office, in her cubicle, to discuss a file. We're discussing the file, and there's this guy Joe. He walks right by us, and then he stops and he looks in her cubicle. He's like, "Hey, Manny, I saw you in that commercial." And he walks off. I'm like, "Yo, bro, throw me under the bus, kill my life right now." And at work, I didn't tell him I'm an actor. Yeah. And it was also maybe like 2 years when I'm in it. So I just thought that, if you don't mix those worlds, things are okay. And, I also like to keep my stuff a little bit away, from work. And so she looks at me, she's like, "Manny, I didn't know you do commercials." And I was like, I just do it on the weekends. Yeah, I just got lucky with one, right? And it was Sharp TV. It was playing on TV. And I thought like they were like, he was referring to the BMO one, right? Because he didn't say anything. He's like, I saw you. I was like, oh shit, like I'm that guy now? Like, man, I gotta hide like secrets at work. So I thought that was like really funny where like I kind of had to reveal, and then I was like, no, it's just something I do for fun on Saturdays. Just because you don't want it to mess with their work days, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because then they put two and two together. They're like, yo, this guy's not here to work for us. He's just here to like, he's like a short-term player. True. Which is not something you want to do ever. Yeah, no. You never want to leave a company with that in their mind. Yeah. So what were your inspirations in the industry? I think, you can get inspired by performances, great acting and stuff. It's just, you can have mentors, there's people that you look up to. There's acting coaches, even agents and stuff. I think one of my, good supporters was my mom. Right. I think, at first she didn't understand what this was, but after time, she was okay with it. So, as long as I felt like she supported me, I could do this. But of course, like, it wasn't like I left my job or anything, so you have to be smart. You have to fulfill sort of both things with that.
No, it's always great to hear when you hear that people's family are support, because I've known a lot of people, myself in the beginning, it's just you have to get to that certain point of success, then it becomes, okay, now we could accept it. This is more or less, I'm always happy for anyone who has that support, because there's a lot who don't out there.
Yeah, no, I think it's really incremental to get like the support of your family. You know what I mean? Because I think it kind of sucks when you want to do it but your family doesn't. Yeah. Then your passion sort of maybe turns different. You're either doing it to prove them wrong and stuff, and you're not doing it for you're not focused right when you're doing it that way. That's of course the thing. But when they do support you, like you're saying, sometimes it could take time. Yeah. Like I was saying, like if you quit your job but you're not like you don't have any source of income. You know what I mean? Like you need money to do things.
Yeah,
you need money to make money. So and these things cost too. If somebody's thinking like, oh, like I don't need money and I'll just like live in my parents' basement and stuff, like headshots and these things like they cost and. You got to keep going, right? Every gig you get, you invest, you take that money and you re-put it back in the business.
That's true.
Support, yeah, you got to have it, and like you said, sometimes it takes time. Like, at least for me, with my mom, like at first she was like, huh, like, what is this, right? Like, and like her first question was, well, how much money do you make, right? And this is not a money thing. It's like per gig, per contract sort of deal. I never looked at it that way, but yeah, like, of course, she was like, well, how much money do you make, right? So I was like, not that much. And I remember my first gig I ever got, I printed the check.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot, but I printed it. Yeah, like it's like a proud thing.
Right on.
I didn't frame it yet, but yeah, it's printed and.
I did the same thing with my first YouTube check.
Yeah. The first big money. Yeah, it's the first big money coming in. Yeah, exactly. And I think you should take that and motivate yourself.
Yeah,
and keep going. Yeah, you got to change the numbers on the check too, right? Eventually, every gig you keep moving up. So.
True. So, we're finally coming to the end of this pandemic. At the start of it, many people became COVID alkies. Were you one of those people?
Luckily not.
Okay.
Yeah. I do like drinking. Don't get me wrong. When I start drinking, like, we're going. But I'm not the type of guy that'll drink at home.
Yeah.
Maybe just because maybe I find it a little bit odd. Like, my mom's there, my sister's there. And I could drink. It's not that I can't, obviously. I just feel like I don't need to drink with them to have fun.
No, true.
But also, yeah, like, there was a Sunday, I was laid off at one point and, I was cutting the grass and I just one beer after another. It was a nice hot day and I got drunk. But good thing I didn't. And I know some people were doing like the drink Zoom party stuff.
Yeah.
I just find it weird, you know what I mean? Like you get wasted and then you turn off the computer and you're like, oh, I'm at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not the same vibe.
Or you forget to turn off your computer, and some people get a pretty weird, or sometimes okay. So
yeah, I mean, some people got slammed for doing other things in the background or not turning it off.
Yeah.
Or I guess getting up and they're wearing boxers and
yeah,
whatnot, and vice versa. Like I don't know. No, I stayed awake. Luckily, yeah.
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 Right on. Right on.
I ate.
Yeah.
I ate like a king. That's what I did.
No, I got the COVID bulge going. I put on a good 35 pounds during this pandemic.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, man. Me too. My suits don't fit.
No, I was like, I've had to switch to a whole new wardrobe.
It's temporary.
Yeah,
it's temporary.
That's true.
Yeah,
gyms are back. Gyms are back. So before we went on there, you're telling me a pretty awesome story about Russell Peters.
Yeah, Russell Peters. It's funny. I met Russell Peters first time, like when I moved here. I didn't know who he was. And I used to work at Tim Hortons back in Ottawa. It was in Rockland. I went to school in Rockland. So I picked up a job there at Timmy's. And then when I moved here, sure enough, who hires me? Tim Hortons.
Right on.
So I go to Tim Hortons. Maybe a few weeks in, I was new. I'm working at the bagel bar.
Yeah.
And, Russell came in and he ordered and stuff. So I'm seeing his menu on the screen. So, like everything bagel with herb and garlic cream cheese, whatever. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, looking around. And I'm like, wow, this fella's kind of funny. Like, why is he looking, right? And I'm thinking now, like, maybe he's looking around to see, like, if anybody recognizes him or, whatever. Or does he have to, like, dish out real quick? Or at least that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I make his bagel. I give it to him. He leaves. I don't think nothing of it. But I just remember that interaction.
Yeah.
Maybe like, because like he's a chubby guy like me or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then sure enough, his comedy now, his comedy special with the white shirt came out. So in high school, like that was a big video. Especially he's from Brampton. And people are like, what? Like, are you even Indian, man? Like, you don't know this guy?
Oh, damn.
And I'm like, no. No, I don't. So I saw his full comedy hour at one of my buddies' house. Really funny. And I think it's, I think still it's one of his best works.
Yeah.
It's the one that kind of got him recognized, I think. So now I knew who he was. next time I see him, I'm doing movie screenings. I'm doing security
Right on.
for anti-piracy. Yeah, it was a big thing, and I used to do it for TIFF every year. I got to see a bunch of stars: Robert Downey,
Oh, right
Val
on.
Kilmer,
Nice.
the girl from X-Men. She plays. Is it Phoenix? I think her name.
Oh, Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's there. Martin Short, a bunch of guys. Keanu Reeves.
Oh, right on.
You know, whichever movies were playing at the time. So we're doing a movie here up at Scotiabank, an anti-piracy screening, and it's a regular day. I'm scanning everybody, and at that time you can't bring in your phone. Like they don't want any recording of anything going on. You know, not even like the beginning, nothing. So there was no cell phone policy. So the cell phone, you had to check it out and stuff like that. Scanning people. So I turn around, it's him.
Yeah.
I'm like, Russell, dude, I gotta scan you. And he's like, he's got a bag of popcorn. He's like, how? My hands are full. I pointed to the table. I'm like, buddy, put it here.
Yeah.
So I gotta wand him and stuff, and like pat him on the shoulder, make sure he ain't got nothing. So while I was doing that, I was just like, hey, like I'm in the industry and stuff. You know, I'm grinding, I'm hustling and stuff. Like any word of advice you can give me.
Yeah.
And maybe he thought like I was also trying to become a comedian or something. So he gave me a nice little pep talk, which was like general. You know, just like he's like, keep your head up, be in there. You know, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great, and keep working and stuff. So good chat, and I let him go in. Sure enough, watch the movie, leave, and all that. And that was the second time I saw him. And third time I saw him, he had a show up here in Toronto. It was just maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He had a show at the Scotiabank, and a lot of people maybe don't know this about Russell is that he spins. He's a DJ.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's a big hip hop head. So
Nice.
he had a spot here at Citizen. Yeah, so he's going to spin there. He had a set, so I had some connections there at Citizen. I went to Citizen, had a few beers, saw him there. He had a nice set. I was there with my buddy. We vibed, and then I saw him there. I was like, yo, and we had that little yo. I was like, yo, man, what's going on? Like, gave him a 5, got a picture with him.
Yeah, nice.
It's on Instagram,
Right
and yeah, at least I was like, I'll chill with him. I'll hang out with his entourage, but he was a little bit too VIP, and I think he was tired after the show, so he was like, behind the curtain and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good interaction, and that was the last time I saw him.
Right on.
And yeah, I'm gonna go see him again now in the summer. So
Nice.
good dude. Yeah.
Right on.
Brampton guy.
Nice. So you're working on a short film called Little Man right now. Why don't you tell the peeps about it?
Yeah, Little Man is a nice little short film that I'm working on right now, directed by David Bart, and starring his son Henry Bart.
Nice.
It's a nice little story. I fell in love with the character. It was nice and different for me. It's got a nice little edge to it. And yeah, so this year I'm focused on working more in short films. I want to get into like TV series, short films, and films and stuff. So
Right on.
building the reel. I got the role. I saw the script. I liked it, and I got the part. So I'm working with him. I got my last schedule. I'm shooting tomorrow for him, and then we're gonna wrap the film, and we're gonna shoot it to festivals. So
Right on.
a little bit more calculated. I'll be probably working on a little bit more short films this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still got some other stuff that's gonna come out. So
Right on. So you're saying off camera to me that you want to be more serious now. You're going for more serious roles and leaving the comedic side to show the depth to what you're doing, to your skills.
with that, it's like, I think I want to try something different. I do think I can do more serious roles. In terms of commercials, I think I've been viewed as a comedic guy.
Yeah.
Maybe like a Russell Peters type of guy too.
Yeah.
You come in, you do your high spots, your nice expressions. Sometimes you have lines. It works well for me now, because I have a job. So it's quick work. It's nice money. You go in for a day, you do your thing, you get out, and then for 6 months you can't shoot for another fast food chain, or you can't shoot for another bank, another banking company, or another this and that. So that works really well for me. But I think in order to give the audience a little bit more, I'm just going to be working a little bit more in short films, show a different side of me.
Yeah.
And, you know, just show people that, like, you know, Manny's just not like the funny guy that you guys think and all that.
Yeah.
I can do serious stuff too, and I can, you know, lose my shit as well. So
Right on.
that's, I guess, the artistic side of
Yeah.
me that's coming in. And I want to show people, that there's another side to Manny.
Right on. So Manny, I got this show called Fat Kid Tuesday.
Yes.
And I get everyone to recommend a restaurant for me to hit up. Where would you recommend me hitting up?
Ooh, we got to do it big now, yeah?
Yeah.
I would say somewhere, probably like on Queen's Quay, Amsterdam Brew House.
Yeah.
Bisha Hotel.
Yeah.
The rooftop, somewhere there. Anywhere, somewhere on Front Street is good, a nice little big restaurant. And I know there's a lot of like new spots that popped up too. And some, you know, some spots that probably unfortunately went under and stuff. So, you know, the landscape has changed a little bit. I would say maybe somewhere in Yorkville, which is really nice and posh over there, and or the Keg Mansion by Jarvis, the haunted one.
Yeah.
I've been there a few times. It's great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right on. Did you see any ghosts?
No, and I've been upstairs and all that, and apparently, you know, some chairs get moved around at night, and that's sure enough when the spot closes. So
true.
I never got the chance to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, oh, like, you know, is there aliens? Like, I don't know, you know, and I want to like at least witness something paranormal, just so, you know, like I said, you got to try everything once.
Yeah, that's true.
But you got to see it once too. You know, like I need to see it to believe it a little bit. And I would like that.
Right.
Not to say I'm gonna invite some crazy spirits on me or anything, but you know, it's fascinating.
Right on. So we're gonna wrap it up. Where can everyone find you on social media?
I'm big on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Other than that, just keep going on your socials. I might pop up as a YouTube ad or a Facebook ad or something. Instagram though, YouTube, Facebook. I just got TikTok. I know I'm a little bit late. Sorry guys, but I'll get some videos in. I do have Twitter now because of Job Impact. So thank you, Simon, for that. So I've got some stuff on Twitter. So I think, usually people just go on Twitter just to talk shit. You know what I mean? I have an account there. It's been a little bit dead, but now I'm going to pump all avenues. So I'll be everywhere, one way or another.
All right, peeps. You'll be able to find the links to all of Manny's social medias in the description down below. Thank you so much for joining us today, Manny.
Thank you so much, man. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you. Nice studio.
Absolutely.
The first guest.
The first guest.
New studio.
The new Kensington Market era of Rob Toss Productions. Manny was the first. Thank you for being the first. We're going to have you back again. We're going to be having guest hosts. You want to be a guest host on the future episodes?
I would love to. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. That's it, peeps. Stay good and keep it blitz.
In the mix, the urban franchise, Tony Montana. Gonna sit at the desk for guessing, show you what they're about to, tell you who they are, let them promote what they got going on, and show you guys how awesome they are. Cause if they weren't awesome, they wouldn't be on the show. It is down to talk with Tony Montana, baby. We have the most, and 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 we have the most.